Happy Friday the 13th, everybody. Sorry I'm a minute or two late here, just trying to get some things in order so that we can do our weekly webinar here. What I'm going to cover today, just for anybody that didn't get the email with the topics sent to you, I'm going to cover creating payment plans, like predetermined payment plans in the system. I'm going to do some training on the receivables and the payables area, and then just go through some miscellaneous items that I've had come up throughout the week that can hopefully help some of you guys if you have questions on stuff. And last week I know that I asked for questions, and for some reason you guys were asking them and they weren't coming through. I'm gonna hope that that's been fixed. If not, it'll be another week where you guys submit them via email. Here and we'll take it from there. So hopefully I can get this fixed. So I'm just going to jump into it, guys. Hopefully you can see my screen okay. In fact, here we'll blow it up just in case. Okay, so what I'm going to do first is kind of talk to you guys about how to add predetermined plans. I know a lot of you guys might have multiple products and services you offer, or you might have different levels of service that you offer. And so our software has the ability for you guys to create preset plans that will, with one click, allow you to pick a plan and then bill the client for that particular purchase or service. So the way you do that is you're going to do that through the receivables area, and you can enter the receivables area from the quick menu. It doesn't matter what contact record you're on to create these plans. So I'm going to go into account receivables, and you can go without searching is typically the way I'll enter for this. And the way I'm going to get to my payment plans is if you look upper tabs here, we've got payment plans right here, and create or modify payment plan. So I'm going to click that button to open this menu here. Okay, and I'm going to add a payment plan. First thing it's going to do is ask me to name my plan. So I'll call this my training plan. Training plan 1. Maybe you guys have standard or basic, pro, and advanced, or silver, gold, platinum, whatever you guys do for your different services. You could even say, in fact, let's say training plan 1, and we'll make this a single so that we can also have a joint plan created. And then what I'm going to do is just identify what the dollar amount of my initial payment is. You can group these. I'm not going to get into that because I don't find this to be important, the group, at least for the way I use it. But you guys can create groups and have these plans in different groups. If you have a lot of plans, it just makes it easier to find. But I'm going to say my single plan is $199. Now I'll create a description that will be in the memo for the credit card or check, which is, let's say, audit fee, something like that. I can also give it a private in-house description that won't be in the credit card memo. Merchant to use is whatever merchant account that I want used for this plan. So if you have multiple merchant accounts set up in Credit Money Machine, you can select which merchant account you want to use, and you could use different merchant accounts for different products and services all inside the software. Pretty cool, pretty powerful ability to do that. assigning a merchant account to a particular product or service right here. Okay, so merchant to use, authorize.net, levels to process, and commission. So what I can do on this plan is not only assign the money or the receivables that are going to be created for the client so that I can receive payment, but also I can automatically assign commissions or commission dollar amounts, and I can process multiple levels worth of commissions here if I had, you know, a multi-leveled commission. I'm gonna go ahead and just put you know, $50 here. So I'm going to pay $50 as a payable that's assigned to this. And then I'll go down to my reoccurring payments. So all in one place, I'm creating not only my initial audit fee or setup fee, whatever you're going to call it, but I'm also going to set up my recurring. So right here I've got, I'm going to charge once, okay, so I can determine how many times per month, day or week or year that I'm going to charge for this service. So in this case, I'm going to say it's once every month, and for how many months. Obviously, if it's going to be ongoing until a client cancels, then I'll use this option here, the 9999. If it's a 6-month program that I have, I'll go like that. So I'm going to charge them 6 times, and then I'll put my dollar amount in here. I've got my initial setup. Now, the way this is set up is if I were to insert this plan onto a contact record, so once I've got this plan created and I've got a client on the phone that wants to sign up, if I were to insert this payment plan onto their record, into their receivables so that I can charge their card, it would set this up to where the initial payment is due today, the same day that I insert this plan. And it's automatically going to assume that the monthly recurring, the first recurring payment, is due 1 month from today. So this plus days to start would only really come into play if you wanted it to, you know, be a different date. I don't know when or why you would use this, but it is an option. So if they want their initial payments to start not on the 15th, they want it to start on the 20th, I guess you could change it here, but not used very often. CC credit card and check memo description, you do the same thing here, except now call it, you know, monthly service fee or whatever you want to call your monthly recurring payment. And again, you can choose what merchant to use. So the cool part about this is I could use a different merchant account for the monthly recurring than I do the initial audit fee. And I can set that up in advance to say, you know, use Dow Commerce in this case. So I want my monthlies going here, my initial going here. And again, I can set up a commission here, which could be a fixed dollar amount, or I could say 10%. I want 10% of the monthly recur to be paid out in commissions. I can set a maximum commission. This is more of a kind of a fail-safe in case you put the wrong number in here on accident. You can say, you know, I want to make sure that I don't pay out any more than, you know, $25. Which will make sure you don't overpay somebody or whatever. So that's the payment plan. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. There's a lot of fields in here, a lot of options that typically don't get used. Now that I've got my payment plan created, okay, so I've got it all created, I just hit close. I don't have to save it, nothing. It's created. It's named. It's in. I hit close. Now that payment plan will be available to me on the contact record or in the receivables area. So I'm going to go back to the contact record. and I've got Alphonse Maillard here. I'm going to actually go to a record that has a credit card on it, a fake credit card, just so you guys can kind of see what all that looks like. So now that I've got my payment plans in the system, I'm on the phone with Apple Sample. She's a potential client. She agrees to sign up. Well, I can go right here to the credit card icon right on her record and hit Manage Credit Cards to add the credit card in. So I add the credit card in. If she's got a different billing address than what I have on her contact, I can click here and type in that different address. So I just click the address, and that's the address that would be considered her billing address. Once I've got the card in, I now select right from this little icon here. See how it says Create Payment Plan and Receivables? Okay, I can go right to the field where it shows the plan and click on it, and it opens up a menu of the different plans I have. So in this case, what I'm going to do is go Single Training Plan. That's the one I just created. And I'm going to create the plan in Receivables. Okay. Now the menu that pops up allows me to create the receivable for the current record or a selected group of records that I have searched for. So if I wanted to sign up 10 people at once, I could hit selected if I had those people selected in my search. But in this case, I'm just going to do it for a single record. A payment plan has been processed for this client, and you cannot add a new one from here. Okay. So I had already a receivable set up for this client. So let's just go to a different client. I just wanted you guys to see the credit card, the way it works once you have a real credit card in there. So let's do it for this gal. Okay. Let's assume we have a live credit card for her. Uh-oh. I've got receivables on all these records here. Let's go look. Okay. So we'll get rid of them. And we'll find a record that we haven't done anything on. Let's go with this one. All right, let's try it one more time. So we've got credit card information. We're ready to create the payment plan and the receivables. There we go. So I just processed the payment plan. I created the receivables. I haven't run the card yet. Now, I can go look at those receivables to make sure they're set up right with 2 clicks. Here's my initial payment due today. See that? So it automatically created that plan. It's got my credit card description listed here, and it's got my $199. All I would do is hit Charge Credit Card right here. It'll run the payment, and it'll even stick right in the payment notes whether it was approved or declined or whatever the case. As soon as I click this button to run it. Let's assume the card went through. It's going to automatically mark this receivable as paid for me. And it's going to ask me, do I want to track that money going into my bank account? And I can select my bank account. Yes, deposit. No, don't deposit. So I'm going to say no. Okay. And now it's got this receivable marked as paid. I know that Gail paid this receivable. Well, also in that payment plan I created, it should have created recurring payments ongoing. Well, the search I did was for receivables due today for this current record. What I can do is I can find all receivables. So I'm going to go back and I'll do a search when I log in for all dues or all dues from selected contact. Okay. So let's just say all dues. Here's everybody that owes me money. Here's all my receivables that are due or past due. And I can even go to, I want to find some that are not, that are future. And I'll go back and I'm going to show you just for this client now too. So Gail, I want to go to receivables for her. And here, let's go here. I'm going to add one. So what it shows when I go to her record is it's going to show the next receivable due. It's not going to show all future. It's going to show the one that she paid. And then it's going to show the next one in the little sequence. And you'll notice the difference between these two receivables, okay? This one shows one payment per month plus 5 payments. So 1 plus 5 equals 6. There's my 6. So when this one gets paid in 30 days, the next one that pops up will be 113, 213, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that payment plan was created with one click. I inserted that payment plan. When this receivable was paid, if you remember, I put a commission in the payment plan. Well, that's only going to trigger if I have a sales source assigned to that record. If I have a salesperson assigned to that record. So let's go back and do it again on another record, and I'll kind of go through the process one more time so you guys can get it. So I've got a client here, a lead that I'm going to sign up. I'm going to assign myself as the sales guy, okay, in this case. I go in, I add her credit card info, I do all that good stuff, and then what I do is I find the plan that she wants to sign up for, create plan in receivables, okay? Receivable's been created. And I can go to the receivables and view that receivable. I can also go here and hit charge card, and it's going to charge the due receivable right from here. So I can do it either way. Let's go look at that receivable that was created. Here it is, Linda Bellin. Let's assume I charge the card and it goes through. The system will mark it as paid. Ask me if I want to track that money going into my bank account. Being that this is a fake transaction, I'm not going to do that. And now, because I had a salesperson assigned to that contact record and I paid a receivable, you'll notice right here, this box lit up with go to commission. So I'm going to click on that. And look what happened. It created a commission for Chad Smith. The commission's related to Linda Bellin. And it's due on 11/13. It has a $0 amount. And that's because Chad Smith had a 0% on there as a salesperson, or a $0 amount. But I can go in right here and I can add that commission in, or I can type it in. It should have created a commission based on that payment plan though. So I'll have to see why that didn't happen. But the point is, it creates the payable for me. Let's assume that my commission was 50 bucks. So it shows that now it's $50. And if you have your bank account information set up in the system, I can create a check to pay this payable right here. Okay? And if there was more than one, there is more than one commission for Chad in this case, and let's go create another one. Let's give me an actual commission here. Let's do that. And so let's do another one, just so you guys can see what happens with multiple payables now. So this same sales guy has made more than one sale. Okay, he sold this plan twice to two different clients. Go into the receivables. Again, here's the receivable for Royal Duck, the client we have. We charge the card. It marks this as paid. Should now generate a commission here for Chad. Okay, go to commission, I'll see it. There it is. Okay. And now what I can do is I can look in my system and say, right here, every day I want to see who do I owe money to. Find payables that are due today or all of them that are due today and in the future. Let's just find due today. Okay. There's the 2 sales Chad Smith made. Now, if I want to make a payment, if I want to pay Chad, or at least tell my system that he's been paid, I can create a check to pay for this if my bank account information is in here. So I create check. It's going to ask me, you know, what type of check I want to create, and it just depends on the type of check paper you stuck in your printer or whatever. The default is current 1 page. Okay. Now I don't have this set up in my system. This is my demo system. But what it'll do is it'll create a check. It'll mark both of these as paid. Okay. And it'll even ask you when everything's set up correctly, you know, with your checking information, it'll ask you, do you want to consolidate this into one check, both of these payables into one check, since they're going to the same guy? And you can answer yes or no. Which is a nice feature. Okay, and now I'm back. Now I'm on my record as a sales guy in here. And if I'm an agent in your company and I've got commissions due, I can go in and on my own account, and it gives me options. Go to payables area, or no, option number 2, go to payables area, selecting the salesperson. Go create a payable based on contact receivable salesperson. Let's go see what happens. So I go in, I'm the salesperson in your company. If you guys give me access to see this stuff or look at this stuff, I can see, you know, commissions coming to me that are due. Kind of a neat feature. So I created a receivables for a contact record, an actual client, right? I marked those as paid when I ran the credit card. Let's just go in here and we'll say last 7 days, all. And then we're going to look at the ones that have been paid. I can filter. Now remember, guys, if you guys have been on any of my previous trainings, anything that has a black arrow pointing at it, see that? Any field that has a black arrow means I can search the system just like this. So if I want to see only my paid receivables, I click that arrow. It's got that status, that paid status in here automatically. And I can now find from the selected group or from all. And I'm going to just find selected. There's all my paid invoices, what date they were paid on. Okay. These are clients. These are receivables. These are all my paid receivables. And when I received those receivables and from who. So here's the client that paid that receivable. What date it was due. What day it was actually paid. The dollar amount. And whether or not you can see right here, the difference between these receivables is this was a monthly recurring, 99 bucks. This was payment number 1 out of 12. Or I'm sorry, this was one payment and there's 12 more remaining. Okay. Then you see a month later, see this, same client. A month later, this payment was paid on 10/24, or was due on the 24th and was paid on the 11th for 99 bucks. And now you see how it's counting down for Apple Sample here from 12 to 11. It's because she has a total of 12 monthly recurring payments And that's what this payment was number 12, or number 1. This was number 2. So now there's only 11 payments. The next one will show 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, all the way down. And you can see also, just pointing out some stuff, you can also see here that Apple Sample, my fake client here, has an actual credit card attached to her file. So it shows up that it's a MasterCard, which tells me, and it says valid. It's got a valid card on file. The I is for invalid, right? So I couldn't charge John Doe from here if I wanted to charge, if this was marked as unpaid for some reason or voided, and I wanted to charge, I couldn't do that. Let's go look at just Apple Sample. See how quick that is? And if you guys notice, now that I'm on Apple Sample's record, I just searched by the arrow because it points to the client. It's now brought me to her receivables. And I can see that the first one was a non-recurring invoice or non-recurring receivable that was paid on the 24th of August for $199. There's my audit fee. You notice it's not marked or checked marked as a recurring. That's what this stands for. It was a one-time receivable. And then since then, she has made 1, 2, 3 payments. Or I'm sorry, 1 payment, 2 payments, and she has 1 due coming up. And again, you can see the countdown, 12, 11, 10. So the payment plans, and I'm gonna go back in and I'll show you how to create the payment. I'll give you another example of payment plans. We'll go up here to the payment plan area. We'll create and modify and add another one. We'll make this our joint, joint okay. And we'll make this one $299. Joint plan, okay, audit fee, whoops. Okay, again, same process, put the dollar amount in. If you want to put commissions in, you can do that. Recurring, we'll make this a 6-month program because it's a monthly instead of 99, or at the joint instead of 99, we're going to say 159 a month. Make this our joint monthly. Okay, good to go. Created. And what we'll do now is we'll go into another record like we were doing before. And we'll find so we'll find another client here. We've got Cora Boydston. Let's say she and her husband want to get enrolled. I go here. I go to manage credit cards, add her credit card information, billing address, all that good stuff. It'll tell me that it's valid or invalid. Okay. Then I'll select my payment plan, and you'll notice now I have my joint plan that I just added. And for Cora, we'll go ahead and create the payment plan in Receivables. Oops, let's do this. Let's add a salesperson here. Let's make Bobby Credit the sales guy this time. And let's say he's on a different plan. He gets 20%. So we'll create the payment plan. And looks like she's already got one set up. I need to go clear these. Okay, so we created the receivables for her. Again, I can now do 2 things. I can either, because it's already been created, charge the card right from her record here without looking at the receivables because I know the plan. Or if I want to go look at the receivables before I charge, I can just go here. It's going to show me only the one that is due currently, which is just the initial audit fee. There's my $2.99. Charge the card, marks it as paid. Okay, there it is. Should have created the commission for Bobby credit, which I'll look at in a second. And I've now got this, you know, if I go look and search for all my paid invoices, for example, so I can look at, I can search right here, this black arrow for this status. And I can find from all or just the selected client. I'm going to find from all again and bring up all my paid. See that? And there's my most recent paid receivable. And what's great is if you guys notice when I highlight, when I'm at the bottom of the screen, it's going to add up all these receivables and give me a running total. If I wanted to narrow this down by date, I wanted to make sure that I'm only looking at receivables for the last 7 days or just today or something along those lines. I can either sort like this if I want, just to see it in a different order and sort it this way, or I can go to my find receivables and I can do a filter for today, yesterday, tomorrow, last 7 days, last 3 days. Okay, I can filter that way. So let's just say today. And I found all receivables due today. Let's go mark this one as paid. And you'll see now she's added when I go search for paid invoices. Okay, so now I've added another paid receivable. There she is. Okay. There's a lot of stuff up here that we won't have time to go through in this training because I'll run out of time, but you'll notice that there's a filter here and the filter is marked as due. I can change this and I can start to search for stuff in different statuses, and I can look at recurring, non-recurring, or both. So if I wanted to pull up due and paid, I can go to my filter here and let it know, hey, I want you to filter by these things. Okay. By default, it's set to due, and it's set on both recurrent and non-recurrent. So I'm going to go back. We'll go to the current client here, and we'll go to receivables, and let's just see what happens when I go to dues from current. So when I went to dues from current, because I changed my filter up here to both due and paid, you can see what happened. Even though I went to dues from current, it showed me the paid plus the due, and it's, again, like before, it's going to show me just the next payment due. So here's the paid receivable. Now I'm looking at the next one that's due for this particular client, Sebastian Cordona. If I wanted to search, okay, you see this button that says search filter. If I wanted, again, let's say I brought up all dues. So let's go back. Let's find due receivables, and let's go all and all. All due receivables for all records in my entire system. Okay, here we go. See that? Now, if I wanted to filter this, I can go here. I can say, all right, let's do due and paid, and click search. I can say find only non-recurring that are due, or find only the recurring payments that are due. So I can do all these different searches, find all voided and due. So that what I'm doing is check marking what kind of search I want to do here. So let's try let's do this. And let's see what happens when I hit my search filter. There you go. All paid and all due receivables, all in one list. And again, I can, everything along this top little gray bar is sortable. So if I wanted to sort where I see all of the paid at the bottom or the top, I just click it. So all my paid are at the top in this list. All my due are at the bottom. Anything at the top that's in the gray like this is sortable. Okay. See how it's sorting that list for me? So this is an advanced feature that's easy to use, but you guys probably aren't aware of it unless I pointed it out to you. So I can turn that off. So I got rid of the paid. I hit search filter again, hit all. It should only bring up due receivables. And there they are. Okay. So that's receivables. I touched on payables. I'll show you those again here. Payables is really, you can set up payables manually by clicking on a contact record here. And I could go add a payable. I can add a payable based on the payee of the transaction selected, which would be the contact record that I have, Sebastian Cordona here. Okay. Or I can base it on the contact, meaning so if I did that, let's see what happens. So I hit contact. I created a payable where she's going to pay. This contact's going to pay out. There's a payable due to this contact. So I owe this contact money. Okay. So typically you wouldn't do it that way. You do it this way. There's the mortgage guy associated with this contact. That's more common, right, to pay out a mortgage guy or a salesperson associated with the contact. So that's what those options are giving you, is when I go create a manual payable, something I'm going to pay, I can decide if I'm paying it out to the actual contact or to the sales source associated. Okay. And I'm going to delete these so I don't actually, so I can keep this database clean for my demos. So that's how you add a payable manually. Otherwise, the payables will automatically be associated if you've set it up to do so through the commissions. And one way that happens is if I have a sales source here like Bobby Credit, maybe I've made an agreement with him where he gets 20% on everything, on every dollar that comes in from a lead he sends me. Or I can say he only gets paid once. See that? So now he's only going to get paid on the initial fee for this record. If I leave this blank, he's going to get paid 20% on everything, every dollar I collect from this client, Sebastian Cordona. So not just the audit fee, but the ongoing monthly recurrings as well. So I can mark it individually on a record. I can also, on Bobby Credit, I can use this button here, and if you see what pops up, it says click to select to set the default commission for the sales source. So if I've agreed to pay Bobby Credit 20% on all leads he sends me that enroll, then I'd put Bobby credit as a sales source, put the commission 20%, and then click the D button, and I can enter the default commission here, like that. Enter how many levels up you want to pay. So this would be if I wanted to pay, you know, a source above him, a marketer, a branch manager at the company he works at, whatever. And then if you just read the menus, guys, we put these menus in here for a purpose so that you guys can continue to add layers if you want to. Check this if you want to pay only the first time and not every time the client is charged. All right, so if I want it to be one time, by default, I go here, or I leave it blank, and it's going to be ongoing recurring. Now, is the sales source an affiliate, referral, or also is this person also an in-house agent? Not just a referral partner, but an agent for your company? Yes or no? Okay. We're going to leave this blank like this, and we're going to not pay any levels up. We're just going to pay him 20% ongoing every dollar that comes from Sebastian Cordona. So I've now set that, and that's default on any record he gets added to. So watch. Now that I've created that as the default, if I add Bobby credit as the referral partner or the sales source that tied to this contact, that commission's automatically going to, by default, be entered. See that? So Bobby credit now, by default, has 20% commission on every deal that I sell where he's assigned as a sales source, or that he sells, depending on what his role in your company is. Okay? That's a nice feature. You can use this for affiliates or salespeople. So that's your payables and receivables. I think the other thing I was going to cover topic-wise was creating payment plans, receivables, payables. I'm going to do some miscellaneous kind of stuff I got through the week, questions I got through the week that I want to help you guys with. One of the things I got this week was the credit repair workflow. What's the credit repair workflow? This is really, if you're doing your own processing, some of you guys are outsourcing to me, this isn't probably all that important, but it is kind of a nice little, I guess, path to follow if you're doing your own credit repair in the system. All it is really taking you step by step. Either add a new client or use current client. So let's assume we're going to use current client. Okay. What happens is it pops up this nice little box with the Social Security and date of birth information. Also, you'll notice here it's going to ask you to select who's your credit monitoring company, type in their username, their password, and hit close. So we hit test, password, okay, close. So we completed step one of the credit repair workflow. Now, step two would be extract disputes. Okay, what it's going to do is give you a nice little description, kind of some instructions on how to extract the basics. If I close that out, I'm now in the credit report extraction area, and you'll notice my credit report provider is selected, the username, the password is here. If there was a security word on the guy's record, that would be in here as well. And then I just follow my steps. Step one, step two, step three. If you're not sure how to extract, because different credit monitoring companies have slightly different instructions on how to properly import the disputes, the items, you can go right here to extraction instructions and find the company that matches your client. So here I've got credit check total, and it's going to give you specific instructions. Don't use Chrome, but Internet Explorer. Okay? Click the archive report link and select the latest 3 bureaus report from the list. Step 2, do this. Step 3, do this. Okay? So you complete those steps, you end up in the credit repair area, and then the last step to complete in the credit repair workflow is upload and advise client about the portal. So this would be FTP, or update the client portal. And you notice when I click it, it's actually going to do the portal right now. Okay. And then it's going to ask me, do I want to advise the client, just the client of the portal being updated, the salesperson only, or both the salesperson and client? Lastly, or do I want to post the affiliate portal by itself? Typically, you'll hit both or client. I'm going to say none. It's literally updating the portal for this guy as we speak. Do I want to go see the portal? Yes or no? There's probably nothing in there because I didn't actually import anything. I was just showing you guys, so there's probably a blank portal. Yep. And there's his portal with, you know, no trade lines in it. Okay. So that's kind of a simple, that's just the credit repair workflow is just meant for somebody that's new to the process, being able to kind of step by step go through it real quick. But that's nice. It's easy, makes it clean and simple for you guys. So I wanted to show you guys that it's fast and easy and simple. Let's see. I want to just go double check and see if these questions from you guys are coming through. I know last week they didn't, so let me just double check. If not, we got to get that fixed. All right, so it's day one. So I got a couple questions here, it looks like. So it's day one, and then start a recurring 45 days after the first enrollment, and then charged every 30 days. With the plus days to start, is it for the first invoice or the second time it's charged? So we're talking about invoices, or the receivables in the payment plans. I'm not quite following the question, but I think I answered it when I was showing the payment plans, but I'll go in and show you again real quick just so you can get it. So I'm creating a plan. Whatever the initial payment is that I put in here, that's going to be due the same day that I add that plan or insert that plan on that contact record. Okay, that'll be due that day. The recurring payments will be due exactly 1 month, if that's what I have in here. Okay, month, exactly 1 month. So today's the 13th. Now the recurring payments will start on the 13th of December. And that'll be the first of 6 payments due on December 13th. That's the way the plan is set up. Now, if for some reason I wanted, in your question, so it's day one and I start a recurring 45 days after the first enrollment and then charged every 30 days. Okay. So probably do something like that. It's not going to be exactly 45 because there's sometimes more than 30 days in a month. So it's going to stay, it's going to start 15 days from today. So that would mean the first recurring payment wouldn't be due on December 13th. It would be due on December 13th plus 15 days. So I'll save this plan. I'll close this plan out, and we'll go insert that on a new record just to give you a visual of it. So let's go to a record I haven't created a plan for. Hopefully this gal. Bobby's kicking butt in sales, obviously. And that's the one I just adjusted. Okay, we'll create the receivable for current. We'll go look at the receivable real quick. All right, there's her payment due today. That's the initial. Now what I want to do is see her next payment due. So I'm going to mark this one as paid. And let's go back. I think if I go back to her record like this, it should show the next one. Yep. Huh. So this one should have shown, I believe, something like that. So let's go double check and see what I'm doing here. Let's go like that. Maybe that's the way it needs to be done. All right. Now let's go see her next payment due. Huh. Might be something that's needs to be updated. It should, I believe, if I'm understanding the way it's supposed to work, is it should add 15 days or 45 days to that date and make the first payment, the first recurring payment due, 45 days from the 13th of December is what I believe the way it should work. So that's how it should look when I put the plus 15 in there. And then what'll happen is, if that's the way this is set up, going forward, every month it'll be the 28th, not the 13th. It'll be 12/28, 1/28, 2/28, et cetera, et cetera. I'm going to delete these out so I can use this record again for receivables and payables and all that good stuff. All right. Hopefully that answered your question, but it looks like I have to double check the plus days to see why it's not adding those days to the actual due date. Any other questions? No questions. Okay. So the last thing I was going to cover that was a miscellaneous item from the week. And again, if you got questions, just it looks like the chat is working today, which is good. One of the other ones I got was the UDFs, and the fact that you can set in the list area. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to go in first. Let me start over so that you guys can understand what I'm showing you. I've got an area in here called Group Field Labels. And you notice I have user-defined fields. I'm in my setup area. So if you guys need to know where to go, your quick menu, you just go to Company Area, Group Field Labels, and here's your user-defined fields. And you notice I have these labels in here, and I'm going to erase this one, for example. And these are kind of my defaults. I want these to be added globally to all the records in the system by default, okay? So I've got those in there. I've set those up. And what will happen is all records that don't have something manually entered in the fields will be replaced with these user-defined fields. Okay, so it's going to process that right now. This is a client that, this is a blank record, but let's go look here. So here's one that when I do that, all of my records should show these user-defined fields, okay? But what if there's a group of records that aren't clients? Because I would only use this for contacts, for clients. Well, what if I wanted to use the user-defined fields different for all my affiliates? And I wanted these fields to be used differently and not wasted because my affiliate doesn't need to have a username and a password and a credit monitoring stuff. I want it to be different. So there's a way to do this. Now, I want you guys to be very careful if you use this feature because it can overwrite stuff and you might not be very happy with the result. The good news is backups will help you, but let's go search for all of our affiliates. And one way to do that is to search here if you have them properly marked as affiliates. Okay. And I can go right here to affiliate and find them all. I have 4. And perfect example of kind of the user-defined fields for my affiliates. This isn't necessary. I don't need this stuff in here. So guess what? Here's what I can do. I can have all of my affiliates selected. So I've got 4 records here selected. And I can change this to maybe I say this guy's let's say industry. Maybe I want to track what industry he's in. And the other user-defined field I want for my affiliates is commissioned, yes or no. Something like that. And then lastly, I can put active. Maybe I want to, oops. I'm just making this up. You might have a different use for these fields. I'm just showing you different thought. Maybe I put here, I don't know, preferred. Maybe I've got levels or something. I can't spell either, but good thing the system can do it for me. Look at that. Boom. All right. And I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to get rid of that. Maybe for referral partners, I put EIN number. How about that? Okay. So I've manually changed the user-defined fields on Johnny Mortgage, but if I've got 150 affiliates in here, I don't want to have to go one by one to change the user-defined fields for those 150. So what I would do is search the system for all my affiliates, get those 150 selected here, like I have these 4, okay? And I'm just going to show you how this works. Now check. Now look, these aren't changed, right? Jake Sample, Body Credit, they're not changed. They're still the static, the global. Well, to change these, I highlight that field like this, and on my keyboard, I'm going to hit Control equals. And it's going to say replace with industry for 4 records. I'm going to click replace, and that's been done. So now watch. That field has been changed on all 4 records. Okay, so I'll do that on all of these. Control equals, replace, Control equals, replace, and Control equals, replace. So now all my affiliates user-defined fields are set up the way I want them set up. Just like that. Oh, and I need to delete that one and hit Control equals to make sure that all of them are blank there. Okay, so now they should all match. Let's see. Boom. Look at that. It's all set up the way I want. And when I go to my entire database, now when I get away from affiliates and I look at a client record, their client record, see that, is going to be set up the way I set up in the global fields area. Okay. She's a lead. She's not set up that way. And all my affiliates now are set up this way. So the power of these user-defined fields is ridiculous. Love it. Use it. Highly recommend you guys do the same thing. Just be careful when you're going to do this Control equals, because see, now look, because I don't have those 4 records selected, I've got 5,020, which is my entire database. I'm about to replace this user-defined field label for all 5,020 records. So make sure you pay attention so you don't kind of overwrite and screw up your database. So I'm going to go, nope, oops, don't want to do that. Let me select my affiliates only. Get that number down to 4. Now when I hit Control equals and I look at that number, it's only going to change the field for those 4 records. Okay. That's a nice feature. It's a nice little shortcut that most of you guys aren't aware of unless I show it to you. So that's kind of the purpose of these advanced trainings. It's to show you guys stuff that maybe you wouldn't have come across or realized without it being on this training. It's also meant to show you guys quicker, faster ways to accomplish stuff like this, where I'm going to label different types of records in my system or groups of records in my system differently. So I can use these fields and they can have multiple purposes or different purposes based on the type of record they're displayed on. Okay. Hope that was helpful. I know you guys probably have tons of questions. Unfortunately, I'm out of time. This video is replayable on YouTube, on our YouTube channel. And also, if there should be a replay link that goes out to you guys every week. If there's not, please call me or shoot me an email, let me know, because I want to make sure this stuff is working the way we intend. Otherwise, enjoy your Friday, and we'll talk soon.